wondered what mysteries unfold in the silence of the womb, where no eyes can see, but where God is already writing a story. Before a single cry, before a heartbeat is ever heard by the world, miracles are already stirring, unseen yet unstoppable. This is the hidden place of beginnings. Imagine this with me. Before a child ever takes their first breath, before their first cry echoes through the hospital room, before their tiny fingers curl around a parent's hand, something extraordinary is already happening, hidden deep in the secret place of the womb. A story is being written by the hand of God himself. And today, I want to take you into that hidden world, a place where miracles unfold in silence, unseen yet powerful. A place where science and faith meet, where the physical and the divine intertwine. This is the story of miraculous beginnings, God's wonders for unborn children. The womb, it looks ordinary from the outside, doesn't it? But within, it is like God's hidden workshop, his private studio where he paints, molds, and breathes life into his most precious creation, a child. Think about it. In the very first few weeks, long before a mother feels the flutter of movement, long before she even knows what is happening inside of her, the Creator is already at work. The child's heart begins to beat at just 22 days. That's right, when most mothers don't even realize they are pregnant. A tiny heart is already pulsing with the rhythm of life, keeping time with eternity. Doesn't that stir something inside you? A heartbeat hidden in the quiet, but echoing with divine design. Throughout history, countless stories tell of children who were not supposed to live, but did. Take, for instance, a woman named Sarah, not the one from thousands of years ago, but a modern-day woman. Doctors told her she could never conceive. Year after year she tried. Year after year she faced heartbreak. Yet one day, against every medical prediction, she held a child in her arms. What changed? She would say, "It was God. God gave me a child when science said it was impossible." Or consider babies born far too early, tiny, fragile, weighing less than a bag of sugar. Doctors prepare families for the worst. But sometimes those same children grow up strong, healthy, defying every odd. Why? Because sometimes God steps in. Sometimes he says, "This one will live." And then there are children who, even in the womb, seem to carry a destiny greater than themselves. Prophets, leaders, voices of hope formed and called before birth. Jeremiah once wrote, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Can you imagine that? That before a mother even knows her child exists, God already knows their name, their future, their purpose. Science can tell us a lot about how a child develops. Tiny fingers, eyes that sense light, ears that can recognize their mother's voice, even before birth. But science cannot explain the why. Why does every detail work together so perfectly? Why is there beauty in something no one can see until it is revealed? Why does every human life carry a uniqueness that has never existed before and will never exist again? The answer? Because life is not an accident. Life is not random. Life is a miracle. Every unborn child is a divine wonder, stitched together with intention. Now, imagine this. A mother places her hand over her belly, whispering prayers for the child within. She cannot see the child, but she believes the Creator does. What if, at that very moment, angels are watching over that child? What if heaven bends low to guard the beginning of life? Scripture tells us that God knits children together in the secret place. What if that secret place is not just physical, but spiritual? Could it be that unborn children are closer to heaven than we realize? That in their beginnings we are seeing a glimpse of eternity touching earth? But let's be real for a moment. Not every pregnancy is easy. Not every beginning feels like a miracle. Sometimes the news of a pregnancy comes with fear. Sometimes doctors speak words no parent wants to hear. Complications, abnormalities, impossibilities. Yet again and again, miracles rise from the ashes of despair. There are mothers who were told their child would not make it, yet that same child is now laughing, running, and lighting up rooms with joy. There are fathers who feared they'd never see their son live, and today they cheer at soccer games. Why do these things happen? Because in the darkest of places, God's light often shines the brightest. Miracles often bloom where hope seems lost. There's something else, something mysterious. Studies have shown that unborn children respond to music, to voices, even to emotions. When a mother sings, the baby hears. When she laughs, the baby feels the joy. When she cries, the baby senses the sorrow. It is as if there's a sacred bond that goes beyond biology, a divine connection between the unborn and the world outside. And if that's true with earthly sounds and feelings, how much more might a child's spirit respond to the voice of God? What if unborn children already carry whispers of heaven in their hearts? Think about history. Moses, preserved as a baby, chosen to lead the people. Samuel, dedicated before birth, destined to hear God's voice. John the Baptist, leaping in his mother's womb at the presence of Jesus. These stories remind us unborn children are not just potential lives. They are already living, already purposed, already part of a greater story that stretches from eternity past to eternity future. So, when we speak of miraculous beginnings, we are not just talking about biology. We are talking about destiny, about God writing a story before the first page is ever turned. And maybe that's what makes this so suspenseful. Because every unborn child carries a secret we cannot yet see. Who will they become? What will they create? Whose lives will they touch? Every time a heartbeat begins in the womb, heaven holds its breath, because another story is about to unfold. And none of us can predict it. That is the mystery, the wonder, the suspense of life itself. So, the next time you see a newborn, remember, that story began long before you laid eyes on them. It began in the hidden, miraculous workshop of God. It began with whispers of destiny, prayers of hope, and the unshakable hands of the Creator himself. And maybe, just maybe, the story of miraculous beginnings is not just about the unborn child. Maybe it's also about us learning to see life not as ordinary, but as sacred. Learning to recognize that every heartbeat is a miracle. Learning to stand in awe of God's wonders, both seen and unseen, miraculous beginnings. They remind us that every child is more than just a life starting out. They are a testimony, a promise, a living proof that God is still in the business of wonders. And so, when we think of the unborn, let us not just see science or cells or biology. Let us see destiny. Let us see miracles. Let us see the fingerprints of God etched into the beginnings of every story. Because in the end, life itself is the greatest suspense, and every unborn child. They are God's most breathtaking cliffhanger waiting to be revealed.